para español, diga español, o oprima dos. Have you ever heard this on the telephone system when you have some question or something that you don't know about the services that you were receiving from the company and you call to the support center? After you hear introduction in English, you will most likely hear this. So what does it mean? It means for Spanish, say Spanish, or +2. Let's break it down. Para means for. Español means Spanish. O means or. And dos means to. And the verb decir means to say. And the verb optimir means to press. Once you get familiar with present tense and past tense, simple verb conjugation in Spanish, you might wonder, what is diga? Why oprima? Because that's different than what you know so far, which is indicative, present, and past, and imperative, and so on. The subjunctive of Spanish is more elaborated than simple English subjunctive. And that is not better or worse, it's just different. Merriam-Webster defines subjunctive as of, relating to, or constituting a verb form or set of verb forms that represent a denoted act or state not as a fact, but as contingent or possible or viewed emotionally, as with doubt or desire. And Longman defined it as a verb form used in some language to express doubt, wishes, situations that don't actually exist. And what we've gone through together is indicative, a verb form or set of verb forms, a mood that describe an action or states a fact. Now, diga and oprima, the words we are now looking at, is imperative. Grammatically, I consider imperative as a part of subjunctive, and you'll see why I'm saying that shortly. As a quick review, decir is indicative and it conjugates as tú dices, usted dice. Predicate is tú dijiste, usted dijo. Oprimir is to press, and indicative is conjugating as tú oprimes, usted oprime. Predicate is tú oprimiste, usted oprimió. So why is it diga and oprima? Let's get to the answer. Here's the chart explaining the verb decir and optimir, the difference between indicative, subjunctive, and imperative. For second person and third person, tú and usted. Please note that the verb decir is IR verb, but it's irregular verb. And optimir is also IR verb, but it is completely regularly conjugating verb. As we had learned, decir conjugate dices, dice. Optimir conjugate oprimes, oprime. This is indicative, which means it is describing the fact. And we need to use subjunctive forms when we want to talk about whether it's doubt, wishes, or situation that doesn't exist. And decir is irregularly conjugating verb. For tú and usted, it conjugates to digas and diga. Oprimir is completely regularly conjugating verb, and it will conjugate to oprimas and oprima. So each suffix changed from E to A. We're going to get into details, but similar switching happens to all the verbs when it switches to subjunctives. Let's take a look at imperatives, the commands. Please take a look at the column usted. Affirmative for decir and optimir is diga and oprima, respectively. So this is why when they ask you to say or press the button, they will use this verb conjugation form. Remember, the command is not something that exists yet, and that's why they are asking you to do so. Para español, diga español o oprima dos.